If you're somebody that tracks calories, but you're still not seeing the results that you want to, by the end of this video, you're gonna know why and what to do about it. Today, we're gonna talk about macros. Macros are macronutrients. They are the big nutrients that make up the daily calories that we consume. Macronutrients break down into protein, carbs, and fats. And I'm gonna tell you why these beat calories. Protein, carbohydrates, and fats, they all contain calories. But if you just track calories, that's only gonna determine how much you weigh, not how you look. Body composition is going to be determined by the macros that your daily calories are made up of. Protein has 4 calories per gram of protein. Carbohydrates have 4 calories per gram, and fats have 9 calories per gram. Protein protects your muscle mass, carbohydrates fuel your workouts, and fat supports your hormones and keep you full. So if you're just some calorie tracker, you could be eating, let's say, 2,000 calories a day. But if you're eating 2,000 calories a day of sticks of butter, your body's gonna look like a stick of butter. That's why you have to make sure that you're getting in an adequate amount of protein, carbohydrates, and fats daily in the proper ratios so that you can have the physique that you're after. Because I know that's why you're going to the gym. Like my client Justin here. This dude was going to the gym and he was eating pretty clean for 3.5 years. Now, 3 months on my program, tracking macros and training properly, this is what he looked like. 3 months. So you can make an insane difference in your physique if you just make sure that you're getting in proper protein, carbs, and fats every day. Even in my own experience, this is what I looked like when I was eating 5,000-6,000 calories a day, force feeding myself because I thought that's what it took to look like a bodybuilder. Once I started tracking macros and really dialing in and realized that this was way more important than this, that's what I looked like 100 days later. I'm telling you, this is the secret to looking the way that you want to look, and it is the most sustainable way to eat. Ignore the calories, track the macros. So now we're gonna figure out how to calculate your macros. What you're gonna do is you're gonna go on Google, the Google machine, and type in TDEE calculator. That's your total daily energy expenditure. What it's gonna do is it's gonna pop out a number. Let's just say 2,500 calories as your maintenance level of calories that you need per day to maintain exactly what you're at. Now in this example, we're gonna use the goal of fat loss. So to maintain exactly what you're at 2,500 calories. Most fitness coaches like myself or anybody on a fat loss journey would put you into a 500 calorie deficit. So you're eating 500 less calories than you need to maintain per day, which leaves you with 2,000 total daily calories. Now we need to split these up with macros. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with protein. We have to figure out your daily protein requirements. So what I like to do for all of my clients is I go roughly for 1 gram per pound of goal body weight, okay? So if you're a 250 pound man, you're a 230 pound man, you wanna get to 200, 1 gram of protein per pound of goal body weight is gonna be 200 grams of protein. There's 4 calories per gram of protein, so multiply that by 4, and that gives us 800 calories, which we're gonna subtract from the total. For dietary fat, we're gonna calculate that next. You're gonna take 2,000 times 0.2 or 0.25, okay? That's gonna give you a quarter, 25% of your daily calories coming from dietary fat. 2,000 times 0.25 is 500 calories. I know this is confusing, but bear with me. 500 calories, and we're talking about dietary fat, which has 9 calories per gram. You take 500, divide it by 9, it's technically 55.5, but we're just gonna round down, 55 grams of fat. So let's write everything over here. Protein, 200 grams, dietary fat, 55.5, we'll just call it 55, and carbs. How do we figure out the carbs? Well, we're gonna fill in the gaps with the carbs. So you've got 800 calories coming from protein, 500 calories coming from fat, 1,300 calories total. 2,000 minus 1,300 leaves you with 700 calories in carbohydrates. So we need to take 700 calories, divide that by 4, because there's 4 calories per gram of carbohydrates, that equals 175 grams of carbs. So there you go. That is a full day of eating at 2,000 calories broken down into what I would recommend macro-wise somebody eat if they were trying to lose fat and their total daily energy expenditure for maintenance was around 2,500 calories. Now, depending on your level of activity, this number could change. What I always recommend is when you go to TDEE and it asks you your activity level, go for something on the lighter side, okay? If you're in a fat loss phase. Because what that's gonna do is it's gonna make this number a little bit smaller, which is gonna make this number a little bit smaller, which is gonna make it even easier to lose weight. But if you overdo it and you're an office worker, but you go to the gym 5 times a week and you're like, oh, I'm a very active person. No, you're not, because you're sitting for 8, 10, 12 hours a day. You go to the gym for an hour, not that crazy. Always go for lighter activity. That's gonna make your fat loss journey a lot easier and these numbers a little bit lower. One of the biggest mistakes that I see guys making is their body fat percentage is just too high and they wanna go into a muscle building phase first. That is like the biggest, most common mistake that I see. My recommendation is always, if you are above 12% body fat, go into a cut first. So that's the number one mistake that I see, okay? Number one, we're just gonna say too fat. Like I said, if your body fat percentage is too high, you're gonna take all those extra calories because your focus is building muscle, which needs more calories. They're gonna go to your body fat, they're not gonna go to your muscles. The next biggest mistake that I see is thinking that eating clean equals fat loss. It does not, okay? I don't care how clean you think you eat. If your calories are too high, you are not going to lose fat, okay? I hear this every day, sometimes 10 times a day. When guys are asking about my coaching program, they're like, well, I already eat pretty clean, so I think I should be losing fat. Not the case. Unless you are tracking your calories, tracking your macros, you're not going to do it because you're probably overeating, which is what got you too fat to begin with. The number 3 mistake that I see is not enough protein. I see guys that are like, yeah, I'm in a calorie deficit, I'm losing fat, I'm eating about 80 grams of protein a day. Bro, a 12-year-old girl should be eating more than 80 grams of protein a day. If you are not eating enough protein, the fat loss that you're experiencing is actually muscle loss because your body is cannibalizing your muscle mass. You're just losing weight. You're not burning fat. This is what your plate should look like. You need a lean protein like beef or chicken breast, a starchy carbohydrate like potato or rice, and some vegetables. If you needed a little bit more fat, you could use eggs, very nutritious, a great source of fat. But what I want you to be careful of are things disguised as protein, like ribs, which are mostly fat, things disguised as carbohydrates, like French fries, which are mostly fat. Even, I know, a banana. That could be up to 30 grams of protein. I meant carbs, which if you're a female or a smaller dude, could be like 25% of your daily carbohydrate intake. Something else you need to be careful of, eggs. They have a lot of fat. They have almost as much fat per egg as they do protein. Ketchup, barbecue sauces, things like that, they're full of sugar. Avoid them. Replace ketchup with something like mustard. 0 calories, way better for you. And that's what your plate should look like. Lean protein, carbohydrates, a veggie, and if you need some extra fats, you can use a clean oil like olive oil, macadamia nut oil, or add things like avocado, eggs, nuts, etc. So the 2 most important things that you want to focus on when you're tracking macros and you're in that fat loss phase would be overall calorie consumption and protein. If you're getting your 200 grams of protein, your daily calorie intake is supposed to be 2,000 calories and your carbs and fats get a little bit messed up, but you're still at 2,000 and you're still hitting your 200 grams of protein, you're good. Obviously, it would be optimal to keep everything exactly where it needs to be, but this is the reality of life. Under 2,000 calories at 200 grams of protein, for the most part, you're all right. Now, a lot of people will ask me, especially on my program, hey, how close do I need to get to exactly 200 grams of protein and exactly 175 grams of carbs every day? This is what I tell them. I say, dude, plus or minus 10 grams. Keep it as close as you can, protein being the most important, but if you're within single digits, 1 through 9 off of that number, you're gonna be okay. Obviously, you're gonna wanna watch your total calorie number. If that starts to go up, you're done, okay? You don't get to go over at that point because that number is set. And here's a quick hack too, because a lot of people like to have fun. They like to go out on the weekends. They like to eat pizza with their friends, whatever it is. They call it a cheat meal. Some people call it a refeed meal, but we all know it's a freaking cheat meal. But what you can do is you can start looking at the week as a whole, okay? Like a whole pizza. So let's say 2,000 calories per day times 7 days of the week is 14,000 total calories for the week. It doesn't mathematically work. So this day is 2,000, this day is 2,000. In a perfect world, every day would be 2,000. But let's just say you went out for pizza or something like that with your homeboys on Friday night and you ate like 3,500 calories. Well, what you could do, I'm not gonna do the math right now, but let's just say you had 1,800 calories every other day for the rest of the week to make up for the 1,500 that you went over. I don't think going down to 1,800 is actually gonna help you out all the way. I'm kind of messing up this example, but you get the point. Maybe the number is 1,700, maybe you really effed up and you shouldn't have gone over by 3,500, but what you can do is you can take your weekly total, and this is something that you can do on MyFitnessPal as well. You can look at your daily totals and you can look at your weekly totals. And as long as for the week you're at 14,000 and whatever 200 grams of protein times 7 days is, which really, you wanna keep this 200 grams a day. That's like I was saying, 2,000 calories, 200 grams a day. You wanna pay attention to that. But if you look at your calories as a whole, it's gonna give you a little bit more freedom on the weekends, but this is gonna make sure that you actually hit your goals instead of this number being like 15,500 by the end of the week. So I just mentioned MyFitnessPal. For those of you that don't know, it's a macro tracking app that you can download onto your phone. The way that it works is you just track the food that you eat. So for example, meal one, let's just say we had peanut butter on an English muffin with 4 ounces of orange juice and 3 eggs. Sounds like a pretty decent breakfast. We click up here on the top bar and it shows us 28 grams of protein, 43 grams of carbohydrates, and 28 grams of fat. So what you would do is you would repeat that for meal 2, meal 3, meal 4, snacks, whatever you eat throughout the day. This is gonna tally it up. It's gonna show you the total calories and how many grams of protein, carbs, and fats that you have for the day. Now, a little trick. People are like, what's more important, my macros or my calories? The answer, both. Because if you're tracking your macros and you're actually hitting your numbers, your calories mathematically and by default are going to match whatever your macros are and whatever your total daily calorie intake goal is supposed to be. Scenario, you're tracking your calories, you're tracking your macros, you're exercising, you're drinking your water, you're sleeping, and the scale is still not moving. Whenever a client comes to me and they say, the scale is stuck, what do? I look at progress photos. I look at the measurement of their waist and other various body parts because that shows where the progress is actually happening. If your waist is shrinking, but the scale is staying the same, that's totally fine. That means you're maintaining muscle mass or even building a little bit of muscle and losing fat at the same time, which is called body recomposition. And that's totally okay. I've had guys lose only 10 pounds over the course of like 6 months, but their body went from fat to totally jacked. It's not all about the scale. That's only one metric. So if you feel stuck, make sure that you're focusing on progress photos, how you're looking in the mirror, your body measurements, a tape around your waist, and how you're looking in the mirror, because that's gonna tell you whether or not you're actually making progress. Like my client Amanda, she lost only 10 pounds from here to here, but look at how much her body changed. And that was over the course of a couple of weeks. And so she wasn't stoked on only 10 pounds, but look at the difference. Another common question that I get a lot is, how do I go out to eat? I don't know what to order and I don't know how to stay on track even though I'm going to a restaurant. My recommendation is always choose your protein first. So a lean cut of beef, some type of grilled chicken breast or grilled shrimp, all of which can be usually ordered a la carte. I'll do that, and then I will get potato, a baked potato with nothing on it, or white rice with nothing on it, because little secret here, restaurants love to douse everything in oil and butter. They cook the meat in oil and butter. So ask for the meat grilled with no butter, no oil. Same thing for the rice or the potato. Don't let them load it up with cheese and bacon and butter and sour cream and think that you're doing good things. And then if you need to fill in the gap with fats a little bit, which I doubt you'll need to at a restaurant, you can order a side of avocado, a little bit of oil, but you probably won't need to do that. So order your protein, order your carbohydrate, the fats are gonna take care of themselves, and then if you want something to drink, order a diet soda or a soda with 0 sugar, or one of my favorites, soda water with lime. It gives you the fizz, you got a little bit of flavor from the lime, 0 calories. That's how I would get down if I was ordering at a restaurant. And don't order dessert. So to recap, what you need to do is figure out your total daily energy expenditure, figure out your total daily calories in a 500 calorie deficit, make sure that you're eating 1 gram of protein per pound of goal body weight, 25% of your daily calories are coming from fat, fill in the rest with carbs, track your macros daily or at least weekly. And if you want help with all this and it still seems confusing, click the link below and you can apply for my one-on-one coaching program where I'll teach you all this. I'll dial it all in for you. So there's absolutely no guesswork on your part and you can get results like some of my clients have here. And if fat loss is not your goal, check out this video where I teach you guys how to do a proper bulk without getting too bulky.